boys and girls. I'm Debbie Lincoln, and today I have a couple of books about creatures. One creature lived a long, long time ago and isn't with us anymore, and another creature is imaginary. The first book is in a series, the Penelope Rex series, and it's about a little dinosaur. This is called We Don't Eat Our Classmates, and it's by Ryan T. Higgins. It's Penelope's first day at school, and she can't wait to meet her classmates. But making friends is hard when they're so delicious. Readers will gobble up this hilarious new story from award-winning author-illustrator Ryan T. Higgins. We Don't Eat Our Classmates. Penelope Rex was nervous. It's not every day a little T-Rex starts school. What are my classmates going to be like? Will they be nice? How many teeth will they have? This was very important. Penelope's mom bought her a new backpack with ponies on it. Ponies were Penelope's favorite because ponies are delicious. Penelope's dad packed her a lunch of 300 tuna sandwiches and 1 apple juice. Finally, the big day came, and Penelope Rex was very surprised to find out that all of her classmates were children. So she ate them because children are delicious. Penelope Rex, said Mrs. Noodleman, we don't eat our classmates. Please spit them out at once. So she did. It was not the best way to start school. Still, Penelope was determined to have a good first day. She tried hard to make friends at recess. She finger painted some of her best work. She even saved Griffin Emery a seat at lunch. You can sit here. Penelope started to notice everyone was making friends, but her. It was lonely. When she got home, her dad asked her about her first day of school. I didn't make any friends, Penelope cried. None of the children wanted to play with me. Penelope Rex, her father asked, did you eat your classmates? Well, maybe, sort of, just a little bit. Sometimes it's hard to make friends, said her dad, especially if you eat them. You see, Penelope, children are just the same as us on the inside, just tastier. That gave Penelope a lot to think about. The next day, Penelope tried really hard, but poor Penelope, she could not stop herself from eating classmates. Mrs. Noodleman, Penelope just ate William Amoto again. And they were all afraid of her, except Walter. Walter was a goldfish. So Penelope tried to make friends with him. Will you be my friend? Chomp! Eee! Cried Penelope. He's eating my finger! Wah! Once Penelope found out what it was like to be someone's snack, she lost her appetite for children. She stopped eating her classmates, even when Cece Woodman spilled barbecue sauce all over herself. And soon Penelope made friends. Found you. Want a brownie? I helped make them. Now, even when children look especially delicious, she peeks at Walter and remembers what it's like when someone tries to eat you. And Walter, the goldfish, stares right back at her and licks his lips because dinosaurs are delicious. The end. So if you like Penelope, you can find more of her books under the Penelope Rex series. Go to the library and find out more about Penelope. So the second book is called Dragons Love Tacos. Now, there are no more dinosaurs, but were there ever dragons? Maybe. Let's find out. Dragons Love Tacos by Adam Rubin and illustrated by Daniel Ciamieri. Dragons Love Tacos. Hey kid, did you know that dragons love tacos? They love beef tacos and chicken tacos, and they really, really love big, gigantic tacos with tiny little baby tacos as well. Why do dragons love tacos? Maybe it's the smell from the sizzling pan. Maybe it's the crunch of crispy tortillas. Maybe it's a secret. Either way, if you want to make friends with dragons, tacos are key. Hey, dragon, why do you guys love tacos so much? But wait, as much as dragons love tacos, they hate spicy salsa even more. They hate spicy green salsa and spicy red salsa. They hate spicy chunky salsa and spicy smooth salsa. If the salsa is spicy at all, dragons can't stand it. Why do dragons hate spicy salsa? Well, just one drop of hot sauce makes a dragon's ears smoke. Just a single speck of hot pepper makes a dragon snort sparks. Spicy salsa gives dragons the tummy troubles, and when dragons get tummy troubles, oh boy. If you want to make tacos for dragons, keep the toppings mild. Tomatoes, check. Lettuce, check. Cheese, check. These are all good toppings for tacos for dragons. Hey, dragon, how do you feel about spicy taco toppings? Dragons love parties. They love costume parties and pool parties. They love big, gigantic parties with accordions and tiny parties with charades. Why do dragons love parties? Maybe it's the conversation. Maybe it's the dancing. Maybe it's the comforting sound of a good friend's laughter. The only things dragons love more than parties or tacos is taco parties. Taco parties are parties with lots of tacos. If you want to have some dragons over for a taco party, you'll need buckets of tacos, pant loads of tacos. The best way to judge is to get a boat and fill the boat with tacos. That's about how many tacos dragons need for a taco party. After all, dragons love tacos. Hey, dragon, are you excited for the big taco party? Just remember, dragons hate spicy salsa. Before you host your taco party with dragons, get rid of all the spicy salsa. In fact, bury the spicy salsa in the backyard so the dragons can't find it. These dragons love your taco party. They love the music, they love the decorations, they especially love the tacos. Congratulations. It's a good thing you got rid of all the spicy, wait a second. What are those little green things in the salsa? You didn't read the fine print? Totally mild salsa, now with spicy jalapeno peppers? Dragons, listen to me. Do not eat those tacos. Those little green specks in the salsa, those are jalapeno peppers. They're super spicy. I know you love tacos, dragons, but you are not going to love those tacos. Do not let those dragons eat those tacos. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Too late. Why would the dragons help you rebuild your house? Maybe they're good Samaritans. Maybe they just feel bad for wrecking it. Maybe they're just in it for the taco breaks. After all, dragons love tacos. So their stomachs went on fire and they burned the whole house down from the spicy tacos. So that wasn't a happy ending. So remember, if you ever find a dragon and you want to feed him tacos, make sure you don't have any spicy salsa. The end. Thanks for listening, kids, and have a great day.
Pete Lincoln asked me to read this book for him, and it's a great choice, so I think your kids are going to love it. Today's book is Thidwick, the Big-Hearted Moose, written and illustrated by Dr. Seuss. Up at Lake Winnebago, the far northern shore, lives a huge herd of moose, about 60 or more. And they'll all go around in a big happy bunch, looking for nice, tender moose moss to munch. Up at Lake Winnebago, one day they were lunching, just strolling along, enjoying their munching. For the moose moss that day was especially fine, when it happened that Thidwick, the last moose in line, saw a bingle bug sitting. The bug called out, "Hey, it's such a long road. It's such a hot day. Would you mind if I rode on your horns for a way?" "Of course not," smiled Thidwick, the big-hearted moose. "I'm happy my antlers can be of some use. There's room there to spare, and I'm happy to share. Be my guest, and I hope that you're comfortable there." So Binglebug picked out a nice easy seat, and the moose went on looking for moose moss to eat. Well, an hour or so later, the bug heard a squeak, and he heard a small voice of a tree spider speak. "I say," said the spider, "you've got a fine place. That moose seems quite friendly, has such a nice face. If I got on too, do you think he would mind?" "Hop aboard," laughed the bug, "and I think that you'll find that the moose won't object. He's a big-hearted kind." "I accept," said the spider, with joy and delight, and he started to web on the horn to the right. While the spider was spinning, he heard a gay song, and a fresh little zinazoo bird came along. He stopped, and he stared, and he chirped, "Well, well, well. What a smart place to build. What a great place to dwell. I've been living on trees ever since I was born. But there's something new. Why not live on a horn? If there's room there for two, then there's room there for three. There's plenty of room," laughed the bug, "and it's free." Thidwick stopped walking. What was all of that talking? These guests had caught Thidwick, the moose, unawares. "Hey," he called out, "what goes on there upstairs?" "Just building a nest, sir," the zinazoo said, and began yanking hairs out of poor Thidwick's head. And he plucked out exactly 204. "Don't worry," he laughed, "you can always grow more." Then he dozed off to sleep in his fine moose hair nest. "This bird," murmured Thidwick, "is sort of a pest. But I'm a good sport, so I'll just let him rest. For a host above all must be nice to his guest. Besides, now it's getting quite late in the day, and I'm surely tomorrow they'll all go away." But alas, the next morning, the sun's early light brought to Thidwick's sad eyes a most unwelcome sight. "Meet my wife," said the bird. "I was married last night. And perhaps, by the way, I should mention to you that her uncle is coming to live with us too. You're a fine host. You're a very fine host, so I knew you'd be willing." Then the uncle of Woodpecker started in drilling. All Thidwick's friends shouted, "Get rid of those pests." "I would, but I can't," sobbed poor Thidwick. "They're guests." "Guests indeed," his friends answered, and all of them frowned. "If those are your guests, we don't want you around. You can't stay with us, 'cause you're just not our sort." And they all turned their backs and walked off with a snort. Now the big friendless moose walked on alone and forlorn, with 4 big great woodpecker holes in his horn. "What holes?" whispered Herman, a squirrel who spied them. "What holes to hide nuts in? Mind if I tried them?" "They're yours," called the woodpecker. "Get right inside them. This big-hearted moose runs a public hotel. Bring your nuts, bring your wife, bring your children as well." So the whole squirrel family all jumped on pell-mell. And the very next thing the poor animal knew, a bobcat and turtle were living there too. Now, what was the big-hearted moose going to do? Well, what would you do if it happened to you? You could say scat, 'cause that would be right. You could shout scram. You couldn't shout scram, 'cause that isn't polite. A host has to put up with all kinds of pests. For a host, above all, must be nice to his guests. So So you try hard to smile, you try to look sweet, and you go right on looking for moose to eat. For moose moss to eat. But now it was winter, and that wasn't easy. For moose moss gets scarce when the weather gets freezy. The food was soon gone on the cold northern shore. Of Lake Winnebago, there just was no more. And all of Thidwick's friends swim away in a bunch to the south of the lake with his moose moss to munch. He watched the herd leaving, and then Thidwick knew he'd starve if he stayed here. He'd have to go too. He stepped in the water, and then, oh, what a fuss. "Stop," screamed his guests. "You can't do this to us. These horns are our home, and you've got no right to take our home to the far distant side of the lake." "Be fair," Thidwick begged, with a lump in his throat. "We're fair," said the bug. "We'll decide this by vote. All those in favor of going say aye. All those in favor of staying say nay." "Aye," shouted Thidwick. But when he was done, "Nay," they all yelled. He lost 11-1. "We win," screamed the guests, by a very large score. The poor starving Thidwick climbed back on the shore. Then do you know what those pests did? They asked in some more. They asked in a fox who jumped in from the trees. They asked in some mice. They asked in some fleas. They asked a big bear in. And then, if you please, he came with a swarm of 362 bees. Poor Thidwick sank down with a groan to his knees. And then came something that made his heart freeze. Bullets came zing-zanging right past Thidwick's face. Guns were bang-banging all over the place. Get that moose, get that moose, Thidwick heard a voice call. Fire again and again, and shoot straight one and all. We must get his head for the Harvard Club wall. Thidwick took to his heels with that load on his head. With 500 pounds on his horns, the moose fled. He could have run faster without all those pests, but a host above all must be nice to his guests. Up canyon, off cliff, over a wild rocky trail, with bullets bouncing around him like hail. Up gully, through gulch, and down slippery sluice, with a hard-hearted guest raced the soft-hearted moose. Then finally they had him. Because of those pests, he had run out of luck. Because of those guests on his horns, he was stuck. He gasped. He felt faint, and the whole world grew fuzzy. Thidwick was finished completely. Or was he? Finished? Not Thidwick. Decidedly not. It's true he was in a most terrible spot. But now he remembered a thing he'd forgot. A wonderful something that happens each year to the horns of all moose and the horns of all deer. Today was a day Thidwick happened to know. That old horns come off so that new ones can grow. And he called to the pests on his horns as he threw them. You want my horns? Now you're quite welcome to them. Keep them, they're yours. As for me, I shall take myself to the far distant side of the lake. Come on. And he swam Winnebago and found his old bunch and arrived just in time for a wonderful lunch at the south of the lake with his moose moss to munch. His old horns today are where you knew they would be. His guests are still on them, all stuffed as they should be. The end.